Welcome back to another Pancho Things, episode number 2 of Leopard Gecko's breeding season. In episode number 1 we talk about mating and the incubator and how to set everything up. On episode 2 we're going to be talking about collecting eggs, setting up our containers with the right incubation media. I'm going to try to keep this video as short, concise, and with the most useful information as possible so the video doesn't get too long and too boring. Unfortunately, I don't have media of me collecting the eggs, but I'm going to be able to show you certain things that are important to know and the reasons behind what we do. So let's get at it. Moving along now, we're going to be talking about temperatures and why they're so important. What determines the sex of a leopard gecko is the temperature that the eggs is being incubated at. If we're looking to acquire only females, we want to incubate at 80 degrees, and that's why I set up my incubator at 80 degrees, because this particular season I just want to get females. If we want to look a mix in between both sexes, we're looking in between 84 to 87 degrees. That's going to give you a combination of males and females. And if you're looking for males, you're going to be looking between 88 to 90 degrees. That will give you only males. Super important is when we're collecting our eggs, we want to make sure that the embryo is always pointing up. And the way to do this is to grab light. You grab your egg and you put the light under it, and you're gonna see a network of veins, and it looks like a little red markings on top of the egg. We're gonna make sure that when we place our egg inside of our containers, that egg is always, the embryo is always gonna be pointing up. If we leave the embryo pointing down, the embryo is gonna drown, and perhaps the egg is gonna rot and it's not gonna hatch. So what I was talking about candling the egg, this is a already hatched egg. This is the shell that is left behind after the gecko emerged out of the egg. So what I'm saying, candling the egg, is to actually put the egg with light so you can see inside of the actual egg. When you're looking at an egg that is candled and is feral, you're gonna see on top some veins and red spots. I will see if I can find a picture. If not, I'll do the best. I guess that I was bad enough to not film something like this so I could show you guys. But you can also go on the internet and Google candling eggs, and they will give you a full view of what's going on. But this is what I mean when I said candle an egg media. The incubator media that I choose is vermiculite, not to be confused with the vermiculite that you can buy in nurseries for plants and stuff like that, as that oftentimes have forms of chemicals that will be harmful for your geckos and the eggs. You want straight out vermiculite that has no other components or other chemicals within the vermiculite. I'm going to show you now how I set up my containers with my media and the ratios that I use, water versus media, and why the scale is important. Stay tuned because it's extremely important. Alright, and for demonstrations I'm going to show you how I set up my container with my media. So for my format with my vermiculite is use equal parts by weight of water and vermiculite. So in this case, I don't know if you can notice, but let's see here. That in grams. So in that way I can have a really accurate reading. Alright, so I use my container, tear it out, all set up in grams, and what I do is I put equal parts of vermiculite. So I'm gonna put whatever I have left in this one, just so you guys can have an idea. I normally use about half of the container filled with vermiculite, but this will give you guys an idea of what I do. So we got 11 grams, So I'm gonna make sure that I add enough water to match 22 grams. 21 grams, 22 grams. Once I have my 22 grams, mix it all up. As I said, in this case I'm using just a little bit because that's what I have left on that bag of vermiculite, but I normally fill the container halfway. So let's imagine that that is set up halfway. And what I do after I already kindle my egg, make sure that my embryo is always on top. I'm gonna use one of my already hatched eggs. So what I do is that I make a depression. Make a depression, kind of like a finger size, and I grab my egg that is embryo on top, and I place them on that depression right there. I put my lid on, and I place this in the incubator. With that amount of water and the vermiculite plus the water that you already have in the incubator is more than enough humidity for the egg withstand the time in between 35 days to 90 days, which is what the time frame for the egg to hatch. That is extremely important to remember, as if you don't have the right humidity, your egg is gonna desiccate and more likely perish. Equal parts vermiculite by weight with water, and that's how I set up my containers. Alright guys, so just like a clock, my female just laid one egg. Usually she only fires one egg on the first clutch. So here we are in the incubator with the date. I already kindled it. The embryo is up. So here we go. Now it's time to wait and see what happens. Let's see. I'm gonna show you now as soon as I set everything up and put the lid back on the incubator how everything is working. 70 degrees on this reading, and look at the major difference, 76 in here. So this is the real temperature. So I got 10 more degrees to go, but as I said, I set up the incubator a few days ago, and just to make sure that the temperature was holding at 80 degrees sharp, and it is. So here we go. Now time to wait between 60 to 90 days. That egg will be hatching, but in the next probably couple of weeks she should be laying a second clutch, and normally the second clutch is 2 eggs instead of 1. So here we go. So this one is on 82 degrees, that one is reading 83. The reason why this one is reading a little bit higher is because the water that I put in the incubator was a little bit warmer. As soon as that water gets to room temperature, the entire incubator will reach 80 degrees, as it's been for the last 6 or 7 days. And then we're good to go. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments, and I will see you the next one. Pancho out.